This is my Apple Watch Series 6 and I'm done using them. I ditched them in favor of the Aura Ring. No display, but pretty useful. But the new leaks about the Apple Watch Series 9 apparently will make me switch back to the latest and greatest. Because from all the leaks it may seem like Series 9 is the model to buy, but is it really so? Let's explore it together. To really see whether the Series 9 will be a major upgrade, we first have to quickly recall how did the watches have evolved since the Series 6 itself was not a huge upgrade, only a chip and a blood oxygen sensor. But the Series 7 was more noticeable of an upgrade. New, bigger display, faster charging, and a few other minor things. Series 8 were also quite forgettable of an upgrade. They got crash detection and a skin temperature sensor. So there are two ways for Series 9 from here, a minor spec bump or a ground up revamp. So which one will it be? Let's kick things off with the first major improvement, the chip inside. The last time we saw a major performance boost was with Series 6 in 2020, and since that time all Apple Watches have had the exact same processor with a different naming but still exactly the same on a hardware level. 7 nanometers, 2 cores, 1.8 GHz frequency, 1 gig of RAM. Even the $800 Ultra uses the same chip. Of course, newer models have more embedded sensors and additional co-systems, but the silicon itself is the same. And it appears like this year we'll finally see some improvements. Reports show that the Series 9 will finally get a totally new processor based on a 5 nanometer technology found in A15. There, of course, are no performance benchmarks yet available, but from what we know about the chips in iPhones, we can make some predictions. This said, judging by the numbers for A15 and A14, the S9 chip could get at least 21% higher performance and 17% better battery life. If this really happens, Apple Watch 9 could finally become a 2-day watch, at least for me, since the battery life on my Series 6 is around 1 full day, which isn't great. But performance improvement is not the only expected change. Another huge change we could see is the display technology. The latest Apple Watches use LTPO OLED screens that have good power efficiency, brightness, and allow for always-on functionality, but the progress never rests. So the upcoming Series 9 could get micro LED displays. At least some rumors are still claiming that. Common concession is less positive and expect micro LED in 2025, the closest, but Apple can still surprise, right? What if everyone's wrong? We'll see about that. But aside from that, what else could we expect? Well, there most likely will be no changes to the design once again. Remember all those renders of the Apple Watch with flat sides? Yeah, we never got that. And it seems like we won't get that this year because there are absolutely zero leaks about the design so far. And you know what? I get that. The watch is not a phone and it has to be ergonomic and natural, so a rounded body makes much more sense than flat edges. What we could see is the new color though. The Watch Series 8 comes in Starlight, Midnight, Silver, and Product Red aluminum cases, and silver, graphite, and gold finishes in stainless steel. I would be personally happy to get the space gray color option back, or maybe even the white ceramic one that we had on Series 5. Each year Apple changes the color palette, and 2023 will be no exception. Another small thing I'm excited about are the bands. With Apple Watch Ultra we got 3 new bands: Alpine Loop, Ocean Band, and Trail Loop. But that's the Ultra. The last time we saw a new band style for a regular watch model was with Series 6 when we got the Solo Loop and braided Solo Loop. And it was in 2020, 3 years ago. I really hope Apple will come up with something new for us this year, because watch bands are basically the only way to make your watch look not like any other. Judging by the expected hardware changes, it's clear that hardware won't be the focus of this year's update, but what will? The watchOS 10, of course, and the new chip, I suppose, will be needed to support all the features of the new OS. And let me tell you, watchOS 10 is gonna be something that you'd need the latest watch to fully experience. And here is what we are expecting to get. 1. Widgets. According to Gurman, widgets will be the key element of the new OS. Gurman says the widgets will be similar to glances found on first versions of watchOS. The widgets interface will resemble the Siri watch face, but it would be usable with almost any watch face. It will also feature the widget stacks like on the iPhone, allowing us to swipe through a stack of widgets for activity tracking, weather, stocks, calendar appointments, and more, without having to open individual apps. To me, it does sound like slightly better complications, but maybe that's the point. Second, new app view. Currently, we have only two options, list view and honeycomb view. Both are good in a way, but not as perfect. In honeycomb, the icons are too small, but the list view is too utilitarian for me, so the latest leak shows that the app view will adopt the layout from the iPhone in a way. Apps will be situated in the 3x3 grid. This way the icons will be bigger, easier to tap on, and to remember where the apps are. So win-win. Some people are even expecting to see folders, but I think that's not happening. The screen is just too small, and also folders on Watch just don't make sense, don't you think? Alongside these two major improvements, the watchOS 10 is still a new thing and hasn't revealed its secrets. It will surely have a lot of new stuff, but it's still unclear what exactly. But one thing is certain, not all features will be available on older Apple Watches. We already saw with watchOS 9 that features like a keyboard were limited to watches with bigger screens, so I don't see why watchOS 10 shouldn't follow the same path. Some people were also expecting Series 9 to feature a non-invasive blood glucose metering sensor, but despite some successes in this niche, it seems like we're still a couple of years away from that. Such sensors are very complex and hard to design, so it's no wonder it's taken so long to develop. Here is one more interesting rumor for you. A sketchy report has surfaced claiming that Apple will release a 10th anniversary Apple Watch 10 instead of Series 9. And that does make some sense. First, Apple already did that in 2017 with iPhone 10, which came out 10 years after the first ever iPhone, but attentive viewers will say, but Arthur, the first Apple Watch was released in 2014. What anniversary are you talking about? Well, here's the point. Apple could possibly go all out for the gesture and symbolism and postpone the release date until the beginning of 2024. But I personally don't really believe that would happen. Apple's device update cycle is rigid and they won't change that. This said, the Series 9 will be probably launched this September alongside the new iPhones. All previous watch models were released in the first half of September and arrived at the stores a few weeks later. So I think this year nothing will change and we'll get new Apple Watches as scheduled in the first half of September. And the price, it will likely stay the same at $399 in the US. However, for our viewers outside the US, the news isn't as good. Previous years, the price was roughly identical, but with Series 8, it saw a noticeable jump. This price increasing trend is nothing new, and even the new iPhones are expected to become even more expensive, so if you have already prepared £400 for the new watch, you should add to that at least 50 quid more. Trust me, the price will go up this year too. Overall, it seems like the update will be minor once again, at least from the hardware side of things, but we'll see how good the software side of things will be on WWDC this June, so stay tuned for that. And what do you think? Will Series 9 be worth the upgrade or not? Or should I just forget about them just the way I did with Series 6? Write your opinion in the comments, hit the like button, and see you in the next one.